See, after discussing the mechanism of natural convection, where due to density difference, which means that creation of buoyancy forces over the surface. So these are responsible for creating the bulk fluid momentum.
Sir, why,
Which one? Which one?
sir, why,
Which one? Hello? 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 We were discussing about the natural convection and the related problems. The mechanism of natural convection already we have discussed. Due to buoyancy forces that are created over the surface between the surface and the contact fluid layers. The fluid layers, due to temperature difference, will get the density differences. The density difference will create the buoyancy forces which cause the natural circulation of the fluid momentum between the solid surface and the fluid. This is responsible for getting the fluid movement, transferring the heat from the solid surface. The natural convection, where no velocity field will be absorbed there externally, naturally, due to temperature difference between the fluid layers. So the natural circulation of the fluid momentum will establish. That is due to development of buoyancy forces arised from the temperature difference from the contact surface. That is what I have. So the development of hydrodynamic boundary layer and thermal boundary layer also we have discussed. Into the still air, that means static air, when a vertical plate is immersed in. Still air is at a temperature of T infinity, and the static plate is, vertical static plate is at a temperature of Ts. So with those conditions, the vertical plate is immersed into the still air of temperature T infinity. So the very first layer of the fluid which has adhered will also attain the same temperature of plate. Therefore, at the plate level, so the plate temperature is same as that of fluid temperature. Ts equal to T infinity. Ts equal to T infinity at the plate level. From there onwards, gradually, if you see, the temperature change will take place. At this height, the temperature will be of T infinity, and that varies from Ts to T infinity. So the temperature from the surface to boundary layer varies from Ts to T infinity. So it keeps on varying from Ts to T infinity. So in the boundary layer. So that means within the boundary layer only the fluid momentum is observed. Beyond the boundary layer, that means here there is no fluid momentum. We have initially assumed that this is still air. That means static air. Otherwise, in the still air, a vertical plate is immersed and the change of temperature also will be observed from the plate surface to boundary layer development only. So now for these fluid layers, considering three valid mathematical equations, one continuity, one momentum and energy equations, those by solving subjected to these boundary conditions. So we have got the Nusselt number relation as the function of Grashof number and Prandtl number. So Nusselt number equal to a function of Grashof number and Prandtl number. Grashof number is derived as a function of density differences. So this is what is responsible for creating the fluid momentum in the natural convection. Whereas, so in the forced convection where velocity field is included in the problem, the Nusselt number was derived as a function of Reynolds number and Prandtl number. What are these boundary conditions now we are considering? At y equal to 0. Y equal to 0 means that is at plate level. Plate level, so that is what is y is the direction considered perpendicular to the plate, and x is the direction considered along the plate. Along the plate or parallel to the plate. The x direction is considered. Which one? At y equal to 0, that is at plate level, so the velocity is 0 and the temperature is plate temperature, that is Ts. At y equal to infinity distance, far away from the plate, again, so the fluid velocity is considered to be 0 and the fluid temperature is considered to be, so its initial static temperature, that is T infinity. So original temperature of the fluid is T infinity, that is what we have considered. So these equations were derived by assuming the considerations like for the fluid. The fluid flow is considered to be steady flow. The fluid flow is considered to be two-dimensional. Gravitational force is acting in the downward direction along the plate. And the fluid flow is considered to be incompressible. That means density remains constant. The laminar boundary layer is considered within this boundary layer. So that means, so the laminar boundary layer is considered uh, maybe within hydrodynamic boundary layer or thermal boundary layer. No turbulent boundary layer is considered. Whatever these equations just now we have considered, they are all valid for when the flow is laminar within the boundary layer. So these when we have solved, so the Nusselt number ultimately is found to be a function of Grashof number and the Frental number, and this is what for natural convection Nusselt number is a function of Grashof number and Frental number, whereas for forced convection same Nusselt number is considered to be a function of Reynolds number and Frental number. So what is the difference between forced convection and natural convection is the variation in Reynolds number in the case of forced convection, in the case of natural convection, that has become Grashof number. Otherwise, there also Frental number is there, natural convection also Frental number is there. So the only difference is observed. So from Reynolds number in the case of forced convection to Grashof number in the case of natural convection. Reynolds number is derived when velocity field is included. Grashof number is considered when density difference is considered for fluid momentum. So that is why Nusselt number here is a function of Grashof number and Frental number. Suppose so based on the comparison of Grashof number and Reynolds number, if both are at the same level, then the effect of natural convection and forced convection in the convection phenomena is same. So 50% effects are felt. So Grashof number by Reynolds number square equal to 1 means equal effects are felt. So 50% of the fluid momentum is taken by natural convection, 50% of the fluid momentum is taken by forced convection. So then when Grashof number is much greater than that of Reynolds number square, that means Grashof number is dominating means natural convection is dominating compared to forced convection. That is what is forced convection is negligible when GR by REL is much greater than 1. When GR by REL square is much lesser than 1 means Grashof number is much lesser, dominating the Reynolds number. So when Reynolds number is much higher means in that phenomena forced convection is dominating. This is how we will so compare. So from natural convection to forced convection. So the Grashof number just now we have seen, this is due to temperature difference. So the density difference are created. That having temperature difference between the surface and the fluid, the buoyancy force are created within the fluid layers. They are responsible for creating the fluid momentum. So the number which describes about the development of buoyancy force is Grashof number. And on solving those three equations just now we have seen. So this is the final form of the Grashof number you are getting. L cube beta g Ts minus T infinity by d square, where L is the characteristic length we call it as, beta is volumetric coefficient of expansion, thermal expansion. How do you define that? Rate of change of pressure with respect to temperature by initial density. Rate of change of pressure dP by dt at constant pressure by rho. This is what is known as volumetric coefficient of thermal expansion. Ultimately that is obtained as assuming the air to be of behaving as ideal gas, and from ideal gas equation of state. So this by replacing dou P by dou T, ultimately we are getting it as beta equal to 1 by Tf, 1 by Tf, that is film temperature. Fluid by having externally contact. So then what is Tf means? That is film temperature. This film temperature also must be taken in degree Kelvin. So Tf, how do you get it? Average of Ts, average of Ts and T infinity. This is actual plate temperature, and the contact fluid temperature is T infinity by 2 is, this is what is Tf. So Tf is calculated like this, Ts plus T infinity by 2, and that by substituting beta value, volumetric coefficient of thermal expansion is obtained in this equation, Grashof number equation. L is vertical side of the plate, G is acceleration due to gravity, plate temperature minus fluid temperature, kinematic viscosity of the fluid at the film temperature. So being the fluid to be external contact, the fluid properties must be taken at film temperature, whereas internally if the fluid is in contact means at bulk temperature the properties must be taken. Here the fluid is having contact externally on the plate, therefore at film temperature all the required properties from data book must be taken. So that is where the nu is the kinematic viscosity for the contact fluid taken at film temperature. And then this is the relation specifying development of boundary layer thickness at a distance of at a vertical height of, suppose at the starting of the vertical height, here x value is 0, here x value equal to 0. From there onwards when you are moving upward, x also will continuously increases, x also continuously increases upward. So at the bottom of the plate x equal to 0, then what they are asking, so the boundary layer development at a height of x, that is from the bottom of the plate, the boundary layer development equal to, this is derived 3 point, and this is available in the data book, you need not remember, 3.93 Prandtl number to the power minus 1 by 2, 0.952 plus Prandtl number to the power 1 by 4, Grashof number at that considered distance of x. So that is, even though the plate has original length of L, we are trying to calculate the Grashof number at a height of something like x. At that height, what is that Grashof number? So that is what is x cube beta g Ts minus T infinity by nu square. We say that one as local Grashof number. Once by getting the boundary layer delta, local heat transfer coefficient, how do you get it? This is also again available in the data book. So 2k by delta is available in the data book, you need not remember. After getting that local Nusselt number, how do you get it? Hx by k, hx by k. From there we can get what is local convective heat transfer coefficient. But we don't require the local Nusselt number. All the time we require the average Nusselt number. Average Nusselt number equal to 4 by 3 times of x equal 4 by 3 times of local Nusselt number. 4 by 3 times of 3. Yes. Okay. So first by getting the local Nusselt number, average Nusselt number we have got it, that is 4 by 3 times of local Nusselt number for the natural convection. So then where the properties are taken for the fluid is at film temperature Ts plus T infinity by 2. And how do you decide over the vertical plate whether the flow is laminar or turbulent? Taking the product of Grashof number and Prandtl number, which we call it as Rayleigh's number. Rayleigh's number we call it as RAY LEIGH. Rayleigh's number, that is product of Grashof number and Prandtl number. After estimating that product, if it is less than 10 to the power 9, if it is less than 10 to the power 9, we say that if it is less than 10 to the power 9, we say that that is in laminar flow, otherwise that will be in turbulent flow, we are saying. If Rayleigh's number is less than 10 to the power 9, Rayleigh's number less than 10 to the power 9, laminar flow. If greater than 10 to the power 9, we enter into the turbulent flow for natural convection. And the problems we were discussing about, and this is a 30 centimeter long glass plate is hung vertically. It is placed vertically. Glass plate has a vertical height of 30 centimeters. The air temperature is of 27 degrees centigrade, while the plate is maintained at 77 degrees centigrade. Calculate the boundary layer thickness at the trailing edge of the plate. That means at the bottom of the plate we are saying it as leading edge, top of the plate we are saying it as trailing edge. Leading edge is bottom of the plate, trailing edge is leaving side of the plate. So this is what is, this is leading edge of the plate, we call it as, this is what is known as trailing edge. So this is trailing edge of the plate. They are asking you to calculate the boundary layer thickness at trailing edge. At a trailing edge, what is the boundary layer thickness? Boundary layer thickness at a trailing edge they are asking you to calculate. If a similar plate is placed in a wind tunnel means at some velocity field the air is blown over the plate. That is the meaning. Wind tunnel, to verify the objective behavior, under various velocity conditions. A separate tunnel is created, that is what is wind tunnel, in which air is blown at different velocities and the stability of the object is verified at different velocity conditions. That is what is the wind tunnel we are calling it as. At the observed movement, the velocity of the air blown is 4 meter per second. Then estimate the boundary layer thickness at the trailing edge. So they are asking both for natural convection, both for natural convection and the forced convection also. They are asking you to estimate the boundary layer development over the vertical plate. So being the external flow, the properties must be taken at film temperature. T film equal to 77 plus 27 by 2, that is 52 degrees centigrade. From data book, properties of air at film temperature 52 are K equal to so much, nu equal to so much, PR equal to so much, beta equal to 1 by Tf, that is volumetric coefficient of thermal expansion is 1 by film temperature taken in degree Kelvin. All are available now. Now from here we are getting what is Raleigh's number. So deciding the Raleigh's number as less than 10 to the power 9, we say that the flow is laminar over the vertical plate. Therefore, for laminar flow from the data book, the boundary layer equation is considered delta by L. Delta by L equal to 3.93 Frontal number to the power something is there. The relation. So the relation is there. So here this is delta equal to L into 3.93 Frontal number to the power 1 by 2, 0.952 plus these are all are known. So here you see the flow conditions. This is a natural convection problem. Why? Because no velocity is given. After verifying the Raleigh's number, we found that laminar flow is taking place and the flow is happening on vertical surface. Satisfying all these flow conditions, the corresponding boundary layer equation is taken from the data book and that is straight away is used, and after substituting the relation 1.52 centimeters is the value we have got as the boundary layer thickness. So when we are testing it in wind tunnel under velocity conditions, velocity is given means the problem comes under forced convection. For this forced convection, the Reynolds number has to be considered. Reynolds number equal to u infinity into L by nu. What is Reynolds number value? We have got 6.5 into 10 to the power 4. And externally, when the Reynolds number estimated is for forced convection is less than 5 into 10 to the power 5, we say that the flow over the plate is laminar. For laminar flow over the external plate under forced convection, the boundary layer thickness equation. Already we have seen this equation. Otherwise, also if you have the data book, you can again take it from the data book for forced convection with the laminar conditions. 5L into R e to the power minus 1 by 2. So after substituting, the boundary layer thickness is estimated as 5.8 millimeters, whereas in natural convection at the same location, the boundary layer development is 1.52 centimeters or 15.2 millimeters. You see here, in laminar convection at the same level, trailing edge, the boundary layer thickness is 15.2 millimeters, whereas for the forced convection that is 5.8 millimeters. So this is how the boundary layer thickness is estimated. Then determine the average heat transfer coefficient for natural and forced convection for the same data, for the same problem. They are asking you to calculate what is the average heat transfer coefficient. So when considered as natural convection problem, when considered as forced convection problem. So natural convection problem, so from data book, what is the average number relation? What is the average Nusselt number relation is? Please don't unmute from your side. It is creating disturbance. Free convection. Average Nusselt number is calculated as, again this is taken from data book. For what conditions? So the given problem comes under natural convection. Laminar flow is taking place and the flow is happening on vertical surface and the wall is with constant wall temperature. Satisfying all these flow conditions. So what is the valid Nusselt number equation? You must take it from the data book. After substituting into that, the Nusselt number value is estimated as 52.29. Then Nusselt number equal to HL by K. Average heat transfer coefficient H equal to Nu into K by L. From there we have got 4.9 watt per meter square Kelvin for natural convection. Next, so for the same forced convection, what is the Nusselt number? average Nusselt number equal to, these relations already we have seen in the earlier classes, 0.664, Reynolds number to the power 1 by 2, Prandtl number to the power 1 by 3. After substituting 150.4 we are getting average heat transfer coefficient, we have got it as 14.11 watt per meter square Kelvin. 14.11. So this is what you see here. After estimating the average heat transfer coefficient for natural convection, the value is only 4.9, whereas for forced convection, the average heat transfer coefficient at the same level, trailing edge level, 14.11. How many times this is more? 3 times more than the natural convection value. 4.9, almost 3 times the value when considered the forced convection to happen. So this is what is. Natural convection considered means 4.9 is the heat transfer coefficient. Forced convection when considered 14.11 is the heat transfer coefficient, almost 3 times. This is what is. In the case of vertical surfaces in natural convection, vertical height is considered as the characteristic length, vertical height. Whereas for horizontal surface when considered, horizontal height is considered as characteristic length. Horizontal height is considered as the characteristic length, horizontal height. You just see one more problem. Calculate the convective heat loss from a radiator of 0.5 meter wide and 1 meter height. So the radiator has 1 meter height and width is 0.5 meters. This is width and this is height. This is the radiator we are saying. Radiator width of so much and the radiator is maintained at a single temperature 84 degrees centigrade in a room of temperature. The radiator is placed in a room of 20 degrees centigrade. So that is T infinity is 20, that is fluid temperature. The surface temperature, radiator temperature is 84 degrees centigrade. Then treat the radiator as vertical wall. They are saying in the problem, treat the radiator as vertical wall, and for those conditions, what they are asking, calculate the convective heat loss from the radiator. So now from this vertical wall, what is the average heat transfer coefficient? First you must get. From there, what is the heat loss from the radiator also you must calculate. Since the fluid is having external contact, so that is film temperature equal to average. Average of this 84 plus 20, this is 104. 104 by 2, that is 57. 57 plus 273, that is 325 Kelvin. Film temperature is 325 Kelvin. At this temperature, what are the fluid properties we have taken? Then Raleigh's number is considered, and which is considered to be greater than 10 to the power 9 means at the given height, so that is turbulent flow is also taking place. Up to some height, laminar flow, afterwards the turbulent flow also has entered in. So now, so within the given length of the radiator, both kind of flows are happening. Up to some length, natural laminar flow, up to remaining length, so turbulent flow is also taking place. So therefore, in the total given height of the radiator, both laminar flow as well as turbulent flow are happening. So now for the combination of laminar and turbulent flow. Now what are the flow conditions here? So natural convection is taking place over the plate, and that is happening on the vertical plate or vertical body. So where radiator is considered to be a vertical body in this case, and the radiator has constant wall temperature, and combination of laminar and turbulent flow is taking place over the radiator. Satisfying these conditions, flow conditions, from the data book, the appropriate Nusselt number equation is taken like this and substituted. So this is what is the Nusselt number. This you need not remember any of the Nusselt numbers. So straight away you can take them from the data book, satisfying the given flow conditions like this. Natural convection happening over vertical plate, and the plate has constant wall temperature. Along the plate, both laminar and turbulent flow is taking place, where Raleigh's number on calculating is found to be greater than 10 to the power 9 means in the given height of the radiator, both laminar and turbulent flows are taken place. That is why the corresponding Nusselt number equation is this much. Average Nusselt number after getting average heat transfer coefficient. So that is Nu bar equal to H bar L by K. From there H bar by separating 32.96 is obtained. After getting heat transfer coefficient, convective heat loss equal to H bar into A Ts minus T infinity. So for a vertical radiator of height equal to L, width equal to W, so then what is the area of the radiator is, so W into L, 0.5 into 1, H bar is just now calculated. So radiator temperature is 84, fluid temperature is 20. This much convective heat loss is taken place from the radiator to the room side. So that is how the convective loss are calculated. Next, one more also if you take it, the metal plate of 0.609 meters height forms a vertical wall of an oven. Oven has a rectangular shaped box. It will have a metal plate 0.609 meters height. So the oven has vertical height is of vertical side of the oven side will have the height of 0.609. You can imagine a rectangular plate of, you just see a rectangular plate oven here is means front side or elevation side if you see. So this is the rectangular shape we can get for the, we can assume the oven. So where the heaters are provided at this location, the location here, and this is what is the oven shape, isometric view of the oven shape. What they are saying, a metal plate 0.609 meters height. So this is what is, either this is what is 0.609 or this is what is 0.609 meters height, forms a vertical wall. This is the vertical wall of the oven. So that is what is, the vertical height of the wall is 0.609 meters, and at a temperature of, this vertical wall is at a temperature of Ts. This is wall equal to at a temperature of Ts, that's value equal to 161 degree centigrade. 161 degree centigrade, that is what is given, 161 degree centigrade. So the vertical side of the oven where the height of this wall is taken to be, so that is 0.609 meters, and wall temperature is of 161 degree centigrade. Within the oven, air at a temperature of 93 degrees centigrade. The air occupied in the oven, so will come into contact with the heaters. Therefore, the temperature is of 93, and at 1 atmospheric pressure. Inside the oven, the pressure is 1 atmospheric pressure. Assuming the natural convection condition, in the problem itself they have mentioned natural convection conditions, that means no velocity is given near the plate. That means at this level the fluid is under natural convective conditions. Estimate the mean heat transfer coefficient and the rate of heat transfer for unit width of the plate. For unit width of the plate means, this is if the oven has the width of unity, for unit width of the, so vertical wall, what is the heat loss taken place through that. So film temperature, how much it is for a vertical wall from inside, so the air is in contact, so we say that, so that is film temperature externally. So that means on this vertical side, maybe here, and maybe here, the inside is air is having contact. Therefore, the film temperature equal to 161 plus 93 by 2. Properties at 127 degrees centigrade are taken from the data book, and all values by calculating. So those are listed here. Then Rayleigh's number is calculated as a product of Grashof number and Frontal number, and which is calculated as 3.72 into 10 power 8, again which is less than 10 to the power 9. Then the flow is laminar over the vertical plate of the oven. So that means either on this side of the, either on this side of the vertical plate or on this side of the vertical plate, the flow is laminar. The flow is laminar, and the Nusselt number is calculated. You see here the flow conditions I have listed. So here the given problem comes under natural convection. Laminar flow is taking place over the vertical side of the plate, and the vertical side has constant wall temperature of 94 degrees centigrade, and the wall is considered to be vertical. Satisfying all these flow conditions, then the required Nusselt number equation is taken from the data book, and same is substituted. We got the Nusselt number value. Then average heat transfer coefficient is estimated as 3.988 watt per meter square Kelvin. Then what is the heat loss taken place? Then what is the heat loss taken place? We can calculate. from this of the vertical side of the plate. From this of the vertical side of the plate, knowing the average heat transfer coefficient Q equal to H bar A. So they have asked you to estimate for unit width. Height is 0.609. Then what is the area through which the heat loss is taking place from the vertical wall? Area equal to 0.609 into unit width they have mentioned. Therefore, so 0.609 into 1 we have to take it. So that is what is the area. So Ts minus T infinity, that is 161 minus 94 we take it. From there we calculate what is the heat loss. So that is how from the vertical surface the heat loss are estimated 3.988, and what is the area of vertical plate? 0.609 into 1, 0.609 into 161 minus 94, that is the amount of heat loss taken place from each side of the vertical wall of the oven. So that is equal to 165.18 watts. So this is what about when natural convection is happening over purely on vertical surfaces. Purely on vertical surfaces when natural convection is happening. So this is what the problems we have seen. So this is what the problems that we have seen when natural convection is taking place over the vertical walls. Now next case is when natural convection is happening on horizontal surfaces. When natural convection is having on natural surface horizontal surfaces like this. When flow is happening naturally, then what is the Nusselt number correlations? How to calculate average heat transfer coefficient? The heat transfer coefficient from horizontal plane. So that means from these kind of surfaces, the heat transfer coefficient depends on whether the plate is polar or warmer. When compared to the outside air, whether this horizontal plate is hotter or cooler, so that also influences the heat transfer coefficient, and also whether the plate is facing downside or upward. Suppose if the heating face, the top side is faced to heating surface, or bottom surface is faced to heating surface, so the corresponding Nusselt number relations also will change. And here for substitution into Rayleigh's number, so which is to be considered the characteristic length means characteristic length for the horizontal surface is surface area of the plate. If it has length of L, width of W like this, what is surface area of the plate? So that is L into W, by 2 times of L plus W. So that is surface area of the plate divided by perimeter of the plate. Surface area means L into W divided by 2 into L plus W. So that is how the characteristic length is fixed for horizontal surfaces. So these are the recommended correlations for horizontal plates when upper surface is getting heated up. So that means when upper surface is getting heated up, bottom surface of the horizontal plate must be cooled. So then satisfying the Rayleigh's number, the corresponding Nusselt numbers are taken as this and this. For one range of Rayleigh's numbers, the Nusselt number is this much. For remaining range of Rayleigh's numbers, this is Nusselt number for horizontal plates. So these are taken from the data book. You need not remember at all. You need not remember for the data book. Straight away you can take them from data book only. Similarly, when the upper surface of the horizontal plate is cooled, in the earlier case upper surface was heated up. In the second case, when upper surface is cooled, then lower surface must be heated up. So then for the range of Rayleigh's numbers in this value, the Nusselt number is calculated as 0.27 times Re to the power 1 by 4. So that is what. Now let us solve the problems on these horizontal surfaces. A thin 80 centimeters long and 80 centimeters wide horizontal plate is maintained at a temperature of 130 degrees centigrade in a large tank full of water at 70 degrees centigrade. So there is a tank full of water into which a plate is immersed in. Plate is at 130 and surrounding water is at 70 degrees centigrade. Estimate the rate of heat input into the plate. That means, So here, estimate the rate of heat input from the plate. Might be from the water to plate continuously there is an inclusion of heat. That is what they are saying. So what is the rate of heat input into the plate to maintain the temperature constant? Initially, the plate is at 130 and water is separately at 70 degrees centigrade and continuous addition of heat into the plate. So then what will happen? The plate has to be raising its temperature to maintain the temperature constant. At whatever rate the heat is added, at the same rate again it must be rejected to either ambient or to the surrounding water. So that is what. Externally, by having contact, film temperature is 130 plus 70 by 2. 130 is the plate, 70 is the fluid temperature. At 100 degrees centigrade for water, the fluid properties must be taken. Those are taken. These are all Cp, nu, alpha, rho, everything I have taken. Beta equal to 1 by Tf, that is film temperature I have taken and calculated. Then characteristic length now I am fixing. So this is what is for horizontal plate. Characteristic length is surface area by perimeter. What is surface area for a horizontal plate? So in this case that is equal to L into W, length into width divided by 2 times of length plus width. Length plus width, that is. So this is what is surface area by perimeter. So L into, but in the given problem, so the dimensions are 80 centimeters length is there and 8 centimeters wide is there. Compared to 80 centimeters, 8 centimeters is negligible. On that condition, this also can be written as, so on that condition, so W is neglected, then this cell and this cell will get cancelled. Then W by 2 is the characteristic length. That is what I have taken. W by 2 means width by 2. Width equal to 8 centimeters. 8 centimeters by 2 means 4 centimeters. The characteristic length for a horizontal plate is 4 centimeters, which has been obtained from the ratio of surface area to perimeter. Then Raleigh's number is calculated. Raleigh's number by calculating, you just see L cube. We know what is L cube, 4 centimeters, 0.04 meter to the cube. Beta value is already calculated, 1 by Tf. That's value equal to 0.75 into 10 power minus 3. So as this is substituted, G equal to 9.81. What is, so plate temperature is 130 and the fluid temperature is 70. From here we have got Raleigh's number as this much, which is found to be of greater than 10 to the power 7. Then the heated plate is, Raleigh's number is, this is what is 10, actually this is less than 10 to the power 9, and less than 10 to the power 9 means, so the flow is considered to be laminar. For laminar flow, and the top surface while getting heated up, the Nusselt number equation is taken just now. You just see the Nusselt number equations, they are taken from the, you see here. See, so this is what is 0.15. Assuming that the upper surface is getting heated up, that means by having contact with surrounding liquid, continuously heat will be received by the plate from one side and will be thrown from the other side. Similarly, bottom also it is having contact with the water. From bottom also it will receive the heat and it will throw from the top side of the plate. Assuming that the top side is getting heated up and bottom side is rejecting the heat, means that is getting cooled. Satisfying those two conditions, the Nusselt number equation is taken from the data book. And after getting Nusselt number for top surface, what is the amount of heat transfer coefficient, we have calculated for the top surface by considering. Similarly for the lower surface by considering. So that is also already available in the data book. Otherwise also I have presented. That you see for bottom surface while getting heated up. So this is the Nusselt number relation is taken, that we have substituted, and for bottom surface also we have got, this is H value for bottom surface, this is H value for top surface. So since both top as well as bottom are in contact with the surrounding liquid is adding the heat into the plate, therefore from both top as well as bottom also the heat transfer will take place. That is what I have separately calculated. And the heat transfer coefficient for top surface, heat transfer coefficient for bottom surface is estimated. Then what is done? The rate of heat input to the plate should be equal to the rate of heat dissipation from the upper and cold surface of the plate. So whatever heat has entered into the plate, same only has rejected again into the water in order to maintain the plate temperature at 130 degrees centigrade. Then what is the heat loss or convective heat transfer taken place is, so this is Ht bar plus Hb bar, heat transfer coefficient for the top surface, heat transfer coefficient for the bottom surface, into both sides it has same area W into L, and between the temperature limits of Ts minus T infinity. This is how, so the heat transfer rate is estimated when the plate is kept horizontally and having contact both at the top level as well as the bottom level. So this is how the problems are calculated for horizontal surface. Similarly, one more also, if you see here, airflow through a rectangular duct, rectangular air conditioning duct. Air conditioning rectangular duct means this is what is rectangular shape. So the cross section of the rectangular duct is like this. So this is what is the duct through which cold air is passing, rectangular cold. This is what is side of the rectangular duct. This is what is the length. Air flows through a rectangular duct. So 30 centimeters height. So this is what is H value, and width value is, this is what is width equal to 60 centimeters or 0.6 meters. 0.6 meters width value, and it maintains the outer surface at this level. So at this level the surface is maintained at 15 degrees centigrade, that is Ts equal to 15 degrees centigrade they have given. If the duct is uninsulated, having low temperature like 15 degrees, it is not made insulated, it is kept open. Outside it is having a temperature of 25 degrees centigrade, and cold air inside of the duct is at 15 degrees centigrade. Therefore, from all side of the duct, the heat transfer will take place in the form of convection. What is that amount of heat transferred in the form of convection? They are asking you to calculate. So externally, by having contact for the atmospheric air, the film temperature is calculated as 15 plus 25 by 2. 15 is cold air temperature internally, and 25 is the, sorry, 15 is the duct temperature, surface temperature of the duct. So then here 15 degrees centigrade is duct surface temperature, 25 is the surrounding fluid temperature. Then at 20 degrees centigrade, all the fluid properties are taken from the data book. They are kept readily, and since the duct is laid horizontally, what is observed here? The heat gain from the free convection is taken place from all sides. You see here, this is what is the duct. The heat transfer will take place both from the top side as well as bottom side also, even from the vertical side on the other side, even from the left hand side of the vertical side also, the heat transfer will take place. So that is what is taken place. Since the duct is laid horizontally, the heat gain is by free convection from the vertical side and the horizontal top and bottom, both from vertical sides and from the horizontal vertical and bottom vertical top and bottom side also. The heat transfer takes place from the natural convection. And the Grashof number by estimating, we have got this much. Rayleigh's number by estimating, we have got that value as 1.004 into 10 power 9 into L cube. And L cube, what is L cube value? That is characteristic length. Characteristic length is, how do you calculate? For vertical height, characteristic length is its vertical height only. For horizontal dimensions, characteristic length is, that is equal to surface area divided by perimeter. Surface area divided by perimeter. Surface area divided by perimeter. In vertical case, L value equal to vertical height. So now in the air conditioning duct, there are two horizontal plates observed. There are two horizontal plates. This is what is top side is one horizontal plate. bottom side is another horizontal plate. So this is what is one horizontal plate, and vertical side means this side and back side also the vertical plates we have considered. Like that, for two vertical faces and two horizontal plates, we have to calculate what are the heat transfer coefficients. Those we have calculated. For vertical plate, so the H value is estimated as 3.7 watt per meter square Kelvin. For horizontal plates, surface area by perimeter, that is equal to 0.3 meter square, sorry, 0.3 meters. Raleigh's number value as usual is 281 into 10 power 5. And for top side of the horizontal plate, so this is what is Nusselt number relation value. So bottom side of the horizontal plate, the Raleigh's number relation is, these are taken from the data books. You need not remember either this or this also. This again, after getting this Nusselt number, is equated to H bar equal to Nusselt number into K by L. So this is the whole value is Nusselt number into K by L. This is how the heat transfer coefficients are estimated after getting heat transfer coefficients. What is the heat transfer rate? From two sides of the vertical wall, the heat transfer is happening 2 into HV into for unit width they have told. So 0.3 is one dimension, another dimension is 1. And both from top as well as bottom of the rectangular duct having horizontal dimensions as 0.6 multiplied by 1. So from the fluid from outside to tube or the duct. So T infinity is at 25 degrees centigrade outside air. So the tube temperature is at, or duct temperature is at 15 degrees centigrade. Therefore, from outside to inside, the heat transfer will take place. T infinity minus Ts is taken. From there, from all sides of the air conditioning duct, this much heat is entering into the duct. So this is what is the problem. So for horizontal surfaces. Tomorrow's class we will discuss about for inclined surfaces and also for vertical cylinders, horizontal cylinders. Tomorrow's class we will see. With that we will close the convection topic also. So hope you have understood. Thank you. These I will be sharing to you. So thank you.